Hey, what's going on everyone? So in one of my previous videos, I was talking about how AWS or Amazon is shutting down C9.io, the popular cloud-based IDE that many of you have already been using and some of you are looking forward to use for Colt Steele's Web Developer Bootcamp or just for your personal coding. Since that's getting shut down at the end of June, of course you're looking for an alternative. In my previous video, I suggested that you set up a local coding environment, but some of you would still like to work in the cloud, and that's perfectly fine. So I've been on the search for an IDE based in the cloud that is similar to C9.io, the original C9, not the AWS version. And what I've come up with is Gorm IDE. And so this is a Korean company that has created a very similar IDE to C9.io, and it's free for use. So I'm going to walk you through how to get it set up and how to start coding with Node.js and MongoDB today. This tutorial is also going to include how to set up MongoDB Atlas, which is a cloud-based version of MongoDB, so you don't even have to install MongoDB into the Gorm IDE. All right, let's get started. First, you're going to want to go to ide.gorm.io and then click on sign up. So here you're going to want to enter your email and then send yourself a verification email. And while you wait for that email to come through, you can go ahead and fill out the rest of this info. So I'm in Gmail right now. This is the email they sent me. As you can see, everything is in Korean. Hopefully you're using Gmail or a similar mail service where you can just click on translate message if you don't speak Korean and you can see it in English. But if you don't see that, you can view the original message. Just click on this blue link right here with the white text, and that's going to confirm your email. And it'll tell you right here that you're confirmed. At this point, you can go back over here and you can continue working. So if you didn't see the email, check your spam folder, and if you can't find it at all, then you can send it again. All right, so let's assume that you've got it confirmed, you agree to the terms of service, you have your password set up, go ahead and click on sign up. At this point, they want to know what your job title is. I don't think it really matters. I just put developer in here, preferred language, you can say JavaScript if you want to, and then you can click on JavaScript when it pulls up. So go ahead and save that. Changes have been saved, okay. At this point, it says go to the service page. I kind of expected to be redirected, but they don't redirect you anywhere. You actually have to click on go to the previous page down here at the bottom after you save developer and then your language. So go to the previous page, and now it's taking you back to their home page. Go ahead and click on the dashboard at this point. You should be logged in. You'll see your name up here. You can choose which language to use over here. So they have English, and it looks like Korean. I'm not sure what the other one is. And so click on dashboard and it'll show your containers. So you have your container right here, this big button, create a new container. Right now I have 0 containers. I'm gonna go ahead and create a new one. And it says source from a template or from GitHub, Bitbucket, Git, zip file, deployment not used. So you could go straight to Heroku and connect to GitHub, all that fancy stuff, but there's no need for that. I'm just gonna leave template selected, deployment not used, name. So I'm just gonna put it in here. Gorm IDE test. Description, this is a test of the Gorm IDE. Now, this part is important. You're going to want to scroll down until you find Node, or just type in Node right here and click on Node.js. It'll show you on the right hand side for this Node.js project that you're getting Ubuntu 14.04. That's what they're using over in the original C9. Node version 10, that's the latest stable version of Node. And then Polymer Express 4, that's the version of Express you should be using. It even has Express 3, but we're not gonna worry about that. So at this point, click on create. And we're gonna take a short break while this creates the container. This should take no more than a few minutes. So let's let it do its thing and we'll be right back. Okay, so before I could even finish talking, it said it was finished. Do you wanna run the container? Go ahead and click on run. And once everything's loaded up, this looks very similar to C9.io. Some things are a little bit different, but all in all, it's very similar. We have our terminal down here. We can pull this up a little bit so we can see it better. Over here on the left-hand side, you can click on the project tab and it'll tell you this is your project sharing link. This is important right here because you can take that link and share it with an instructor or a TA or anyone that you want to be able to help you on Facebook or Stack Overflow or Discord. And that person will be able to enter into your workspace and they'll have the permissions that you're giving them to either read or read and write within your workspace. So we'll go ahead and close that. The other thing you can do for sharing, if you don't want to just click on that link, is go to the share this project. You're going to type in the user's email or you can just copy these links here. So you have your workspace shared link, that's the one you're going to want to share, and then you can mess with the conditions down here. If you don't leave yourself connected with the container online, then the user is not going to be able to connect. So typically, if you need help from someone like an instructor, you'll want to click on this regardless of project author connection. Meaning if you're not logged in, it's okay. I can still go in there, look at your code, and fix anything that's messed up. So those are your options there. You can change whether or not it's readable or editable, and click OK, update the URL, share the URL, etc. So we'll go ahead and cancel out of that. So you can see we have our file system on the left-hand side here. There's already a main.js file. If I open it up, it's just a simple function that says hello Gorm. And if you want to run that, you see I can type ls here. There's that main.js file. I can run node main.js, and you can see that it runs it and it prints out hello Gorm. So we can check the node version. It already told us it's 10.15.3, but if you want to check it, you can. MongoDB is not installed. It's very easy to install MongoDB, but it's even easier to set up MongoDB Atlas, and it's also free. So that's what I'm going to show you in this next step. Okay, so for this next step, head on over to mongodb.com/cloud/atlas and go ahead and click on Start Free. And now it's going to ask you for your email address. And then you agree to the terms of service, get started for free. There's a lot of information right here, but it's actually really simple to get through this. So it tells you, welcome, build my first cluster. So we just click on build my first cluster. It says, what do you want to use this for? Click on learning MongoDB, so this first one here. And when I click on that, it already has everything selected. So just leave all this stuff here alone. Go down to the cluster name right here where it has this green box. Click on this yellow button. It's going to want you to type in the cluster name. The cluster name is actually already typed in for you. If you want to change it, that's fine, but cluster 0 is also fine. So really, all you have to do is scroll to the bottom and click on create cluster. You don't have to change any of this stuff. So go create cluster, and then you have to wait about 7 to 10 minutes for the cluster to provision. It may take less time than that, but let's go ahead and let that do its thing, and then we'll circle back here in a minute whenever this is ready, and we'll continue working. So while we wait for the cluster to be created, let's head back over to Gorm. And let's set up a really simple Node application with Express.js. So this main.js file, if you want, you can delete it or rename it. Let's go ahead and rename it to app.js. That way we don't have to create a new file called app.js. And I'll get rid of what's inside of there. And I'm just going to do a const express is equal to require express. And then a const app is equal to express. And we're going to invoke that. So we have our express and our app variables. On the next line, we're going to do an app.get and direct it to /, which is just the base root URL for any website. And then put a comma there. And inside of parentheses, we're going to give it the arguments of rec and res. And then this arrow function here, open it up. By the way, this right here is a simple callback. You may be more familiar with having the function like that, but the newer syntax is to remove the function keyword and pass in this little arrow right here with the equal sign, the greater than sign, and now you have an arrow function. It's a little more succinct. And then up here where we have const, normally you'd probably see var. Now the replacement for that is const or let. In this case we're using const because it's a constant variable. Neither of these are going to change, so we're not going to assign them to anything else. In this case we're calling methods like .get on app, but that's different than reassigning the app variable to something else. So inside of this function right here, we're just going to use the res variable. This is the response object, and we'll do a res.send is this thing on. And now we need to do our app.listen outside of that app.get. So down at the bottom here, we'll do an app.listen. And I can't remember how the ports work with Gorm, so we'll go ahead and try it with, let's just say 8080. And then we'll do an empty set of parens with an arrow function, console.log, server listening on port 8080, and save app.js. Cool. So at this point, down here inside the terminal, let's do an npm init-y. And this is just like npm init, except it runs through all of those little questions that it asks you, and it does the default answers, which you would be doing that anyway. So that's why we put that -y on the end there. Saves us a little bit of time. So the main file is app.js. The name for this is gorm-ide-test. It's just taking that based off of the folder that it's living inside of. and it's ready to go. We need to install Express. So let's do an npm I Express. Okay, let's check out our package.json, and as a dependency we have Express. Now we got to figure out how we're actually going to view the preview for this. Inside the terminal, let's go ahead and run our server with node app.js, and that tells us that the server is listening on port 8080. So I think we can go to the project tab up here, and then we go down to running URL and port, and here's the default link they give us. So you can copy it or just click on it. It tells you port 3000. So if we click on it, it may not actually work, and the reason is we're not using port 3000. So if we go back and we go back into our app.js file and we change 8080 to 3000, and then we go up here and we refresh, still not working. Let's go ahead and restart our server. So shut the server down, restart it. It even says it's listening on 8080, so let's change that string, shut it down, restart it. All right, cool. So now we're listening on port 3000. Go back to that preview URL and refresh. Is this thing on? Cool. That part of it is working. So we have a simple Express application working where we're sending a response here and we're able to view it in our browser. Let's head back over to MongoDB Atlas and check on that cluster. It's ready to go right here. So let's click on the connect button and see if we can get connected. And it wants you to whitelist your IP. If you add your current IP address, it's going to add the IP address from your computer. We want to add the IP address for Gorm. Now, I'm not positive of what IP they're using, so I'm just going to try out 0.0.0.0/0 for the subnet. And then in the description, we'll just put Gorm IDE, add IP address. Now, we're missing a step here. We need to create our first database user. We can do it right here also. So the username for this, I'll just do dev sprout. All right, cool. So we'll create that MongoDB user. The last thing they want to do is connect to the cluster. We can choose a connection method with this green button. We're going to connect to our application with a connection string. So we'll click on connect your application, the middle option here, and it gives us this link. You can just copy it with the copy button. And now let's head back over to Gorm, back inside the IDE, and we need to connect to our database using Mongoose. All right, so really quickly up here beneath the app variable, let's do const mongoose is equal to require mongoose. Now that tells us that we're going to need the mongoose package inside of package.json. So down here in the terminal, just do an npm I mongoose. And while that's installing, go back to your code editor. Now let's do a mongoose.connect. And we need to connect to the URL that we just created. So you can go ahead and pass it in as a string. The only thing that needs to be replaced is this password right here. So we'll put a comma after that, open up an object, and use the use new URL parser option and set it to true, and then use create index and set that to true. And outside of the parens for mongoose.connect, let's go ahead and do a .then, pass in an arrow function here, and if we have a successful connection, then we're going to say connected to DB, or we'll catch the error if there is one. Notice that I'm not wrapping the argument in parentheses like I did with rec and res down here, and that's because with arrow functions, if you only have one argument, then you can omit the parentheses. So I just had the word error. That's the argument for this arrow function here, and then inside of here, we're simply going to console log error, and then a comma outside that string, and then error, which is the object with the error message, dot message. Don't worry if this is all new to you. I'm going to have this code where you can copy it and test it out in your own Gorm IDE instance. Don't worry about that. Just focus on getting signed up and testing this stuff out with the code that I'm going to provide to you. Okay, great. So Mongoose should be connected successfully. We just have to put in the password. I'm going to change this password later, so don't try and use this cluster with my password. That would just be foolish. So this one is password 12345678990. Save. And now down here, I could just keep running Node app.js, but I really love this tool, NodeDaemon. So I'm going to do a npm I-g NodeDaemon, or NodeMon, however you want to pronounce it. A student called me out on that. Basically, it's a monitor for the Node server, so it makes sense that it's called NodeMon. But I'm almost positive that on their npm package their GitHub page, they have these little like demon horns on their logo. So it could go either way. Anyway, we're gonna do no daemon, nodemon, and it's going to run app.js, server listening on port 3000, and check it out. We're connected to the DB. Now there would have been an error if this hadn't worked. So it seems to me that over here in MongoDB Atlas, when I click on security and I go to the IP whitelist, I have 0.0.0.0/0. That is the IP address that you want to use so that you can connect successfully to your IDE. So with that in place, back over here, this is connected. If we go refresh this page, this thing is still on. We can double check by going to this message right here and just putting something else in here. And then refresh, something else. Okay, so now let's test the database. We know we're connected. Let's go ahead and test it out and see if it's actually gonna work. Okay, so I borrowed some code from an app. I'm just gonna paste it in here. Basically, we're creating a post schema right here with Mongoose, and then we're turning that into a model. And we're going to give it a title and a description. So down here, when we do app.get, we are actually gonna turn this into an async function. So we'll just put the word async right before this arrow function. And then inside of here, we can do something like let post is equal to await. So because we're inside of an async function, we can use the await keyword, which allows us to run a method or a function that returns a promise. We can await that promise to finish resolving. And once it resolves, we can take the results and assign it to the post variable. And so the method that we're going to use is post.create. And we're just going to pass in something really simple here like title. We'll just say the title's test, and then the description, we'll say this is a test also, and save that. And at this point, we want to take the post object and send it with res.send. So if this works, then we should have a couple of things. We should be able to go over here to our preview URL, refresh the page, and check it out. We get JSON back. This is the object with the ID, the title of test, and the description. Note the last couple of characters. This is how we're going to compare this to what's inside of our MongoDB Atlas cluster. So 0df2e. Let's go over to MongoDB Atlas, and if we go to overview and we click on collections here, then it's retrieving the list of databases and collections. And check it out, there it is, 0df2e. This is our collection right here for our posts, and that's the post that we just created. So we are all hooked up to be able to use Node.js, the latest stable version, and MongoDB, the latest version in the cloud with MongoDB Atlas, all for free in Gorm IDE. Really simple, quick setup, and you can follow along with Colt in the Web Developer Bootcamp or with me in my Code with Node course. See the description for this video for links to those courses if you don't already have them. And yeah, really simple. Of course, if you have any questions or you run into any problems, just let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.